Hi, folks. Well, we welcome you to our next webinar on leadership. We at Fit the Soul, we work to create women leaders. And every last weekend of the month, we bring you a webinar to help you work your way towards leadership. So this week, our webinar is on Think as a Leader. And now it's time to move forward. So here we have 4 women leaders from India. We have Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, who was an entrepreneur and started Biocon. We have Indra Nooyi, who was head of Pepsi Global. We have Vinita Bali, who was head of Britannia. And we have Zia Modi, who is a lawyer and head of AZB Partners. So we just thought we would pick 4 Indian women leaders to even talk about leadership and how to move forward as a leader and how to think and how would they have thought. We're just going to pick one leader and some of the qualities she had when she was working her way up as a leader. So we all know that leadership doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and strategy to develop leadership and put these skills into practice. So how did some of them do it? We just pick one example. And here we have Ms. Kiran Majumdar-Shaw. She was always dedicated and hardworking. But more importantly, she did brewery. And when she came back to India, nobody wanted to give her a job because brewery was not a field for women. Did that stop her? No. She was always ready to fight criticism. And because of that, she decided to set up her own company. So she overcame entrepreneurial barriers. And she had a great lead of risk-taking ability. She still has it. She's still on the forefront because of those. And she has this deep desire, a hunger, a burning desire for discovering new avenues, for channeling her talent. How many of us do this? Why don't we do it? What should we do? Aren't these all questions that we ask ourselves? So how many of us dream of sitting on this boardroom table, on that decision-making table? When we're sitting there, what do we imagine ourselves to be? Inspiring, influencing. So do we want to be inspiring to others? Do we want to influence others? Yeah, we do. So how do we go about it? So today we're going to talk about just a few habits that we need to work on, few tips that we need to work on our way to a seat on that decision-making table. The first one is we need to refine our jobs. You need to start thinking as a leader. To think as a leader, you need to make your position more strategic and less operational. So sometimes, even as we go into mid-management or senior management, we have less operational work. So sometimes when we see our teammates struggling, we start helping them out. We start becoming more operational. Or sometimes we even think that being operational, being hands-on is the way to go up. No. You have to develop your strategic acumen. So how do you do that? So you need to get away from the daily operational tasks. You need to move away. Step aside and start thinking of strategies as a leader would. You have to take more initiative and slowly act like a leader of your own work. So you have to imagine if you were the CEO of the company, if you are a vice president, what would the initiatives be like? What changes would you make? Start thinking through that. Start working through that. This COVID time is a very good time to start moving and start thinking differently because we have to think as a leader. If we have to move up, we have to be a leader. We have to think, act, and be the leader. If you do not think, you cannot act. So first step is to Be more strategic and less operational. Start from today. Carve out time to think of strategy. Carve out time to sit back and think of how would you like to take your department? How would you like to take your division? How would you like to take your company forward? So these are all great things that you need to think, because that's the only way you will get to the next step. So how do we go about that? So next step is about who you are in your networking process. So you see a hub and you see a bridge. Are you the go-to person for everyone when they have a problem? Most women pride themselves in being a go-to person. So what are we? We are a hub. So we are in the center and everybody comes to us for advice. Everyone comes to us for assistance. And everybody comes to us thinking that we are agony aunt too. Yes, we are. But what happens when you are a hub? They all come to you, it stops with you, but you get boxed in. You can't go further because you are boxed in by all the spokes that keep coming to you. So in your networking process, what do you need to be? You need to be the bridge. So what happens? What does a bridge do? A bridge connects two places. So you come onto the bridge and you go on to another place. So that is what you need to be in your networking. So what happens when people come to you? You need to guide them to others and help them move on. You need to help them, but you don't become the go-to person. You just need to be the pass-through person. So that is where the difference is between a hub and a bridge. So a hub is the go-to person and a bridge is the pass-through person. So what happens when you are the bridge? You can network with far more people. You can be the bridge, and from there you can meet many, many more people. So what do you need to do? You need to change yourself. Be the bridge and not the hub. So what does a bridge do? It becomes a connector between the company, the outside world, the industry, and your team. So you need to be the connector and not the hub. And when you are a connector, you can connect with many, many more people because you're the bridge. People pass through. So your connections become much, much larger. You can connect with clients, with teams, with bosses, with friends, with colleagues. It doesn't limit you to being a bridge within the company. Within the company, outside the company, you can be a bridge. I've spoken to many women in the last 2-3 weeks, and all of them said, I am the go-to person. They proudly say so. Yes, it is nice. But after mid-management, when you want to move to senior management, you have to stop being the hub and you have to be the connector. You have to be the bridge. Only then can you grow. So as you grow and grow more, and as you become a bridge, you realize a lot more traffic passes through the bridge than through the hub. So we all need to start thinking about our networking. We always hear that networking is so important. If you want to grow, you have to have a robust networking system. But now we are saying you need to be a robust bridge, a connector, and not a robust hub. Okay, because a hub, like I said, finally you just get boxed in and you get overloaded and you have no way out. While a bridge never gets overloaded because people don't stop. You just keep moving on. So that's the advantage of being a bridge and not a hub. So what we need to do is we need to think through this and really apply this in everything that we do. So how do we do this? We need to excite, engage, empower, and embody the change. What do you mean by excite, engage, embody, empower? So first, here we are, we're strategizing, we're thinking of new policies, you're thinking of new ways to do the same thing, you are thinking of new ways to engage the client. So how do you do it? You have to excite and engage the client. Last time we spoke about the 3 P's, the 3 C's of communication. And the first one was to captivate the audience. And how did we want to captivate the audience? By exciting and engaging them. Unless you excite and engage them, they don't feel part of your process. They don't feel that they're invested. So, whatever you do, whatever plan you bring, you have to excite and engage. So, excite, you have to have the excitement yourself. It has to show on your face. You can't have a deadpan expression and tell them, I am coming with this fantastic idea. Guys, we've got this fantastic idea. We've got this new plan. Hey, let me unfold it. Let me unfold it for you. And you have this great PPT, a fun PPT, and you just show them how excited they can get. Then they must become participants of this change. They must feel ownership for this change. Only then they feel engaged. If they feel the whole plan is yours and you're just making them cogs in the wheel, they don't feel a sense of ownership. And when they don't feel a sense of ownership, there's no engagement. There is duty, there is responsibility. That's different from being engaged. Being engaged is put yourself wholly into it and be part of it and be an owner, part owner. Even if you are a 1% owner, you are part owner. You feel that your voice matters. So as a team head, as a senior management person, when you talk to them, ask them for their opinions. Take a few and put in one or two of them into your core group. So the whole team feels that their voice is heard and they're engaged, and that excites them further. Then empower them. How do you grow further as a leader? You have to empower the people below you. Many people think that if your subordinate, if your reportee is very smart, you look ordinary. No, you become even smarter, because if they take a lot of your responsibility, they show a lot of initiative, they take a lot of work off you, you have more time to strategize. You have more time to be a connector. You have more time to work through this and to understand how to move to the next level. So surround yourself with smart people who report to you and empower them to become even smarter. And then you need to embody the change. So I was having this conversation with a couple of women, senior management women. We are trying to move up further. And I said, okay, so if you are going to be a senior vice president in your company, what makes a change? You have to start behaving like a senior vice president. You have to start embodying the change. You have to start looking, feeling, thinking that part. So a great way to start that is look at a senior vice president, look at a director in your company whom you admire. How does she or he conduct themselves? How do they come with a proposal? How do they excite, engage, and empower you? Start making those changes in your life. Start working that way. Some of it may not be natural. You may not be a great public speaker. But whether it is natural or not, at that level, you need to speak constantly. So you need to keep practicing this. You need to keep working on this. So what do you need to do? To embody the change, start imagining you are that person in that position and start imbibing some of that behavior into you. And so when people start seeing you, they can see the change that you have embodied. Walk the talk. You can see that. So you need to clearly excite, engage, empower, and embody the change. Only then can people start seeing the leader in you. And only when you think as a leader can you act as one. So you need to start working on this right from today. So what do you want to be? Or to be on the decision-making table, you need to be inspiring and influencing. So how can you be inspiring and influencing? First, you have to become more strategic and less operational. And to become strategic and less operational, you need to start carving out time to work on strategies. You need to start carving out time to work on how you would change things. And then you need to stop being the hub. You need to be the bridge, the connector. And the more you connect, the better a bridge you become, and the more people you get to know, and more people get to know you, and you start becoming more influencing and more inspiring. And then, of course, how do you do this? How do you get your team to get buy-in into your programs? You have to excite and engage them. They have to feel a sense of ownership. And then you have to empower them. How do you empower them? By giving them responsibility, letting them take ownership and the accolades for something good they've done, helping them through their mistakes without crucifying them. And finally, by doing all this, you start embodying the change. People start seeing that change, and you become more inspiring and more influencing. So if we start working on each of these points, slowly but surely you can see the change. Just like when you are trying to lose weight, when you are trying to become fitter, you start eating better, you start working out, and initially it may show, it may not show. So I have this standard joke, when after our two babies, we were in Delhi, and I had my son was 6 months old, my daughter was 2.5 years old, and I was really bogged down by just looking after them. So my husband felt a bit sorry for me, and he went and enrolled me at a very an expensive gym very close to our house. He had to do it very close because I couldn't take off too much time. So I started going to the gym, and after 1 month, I felt I had lost 1.5 kilos, and I'm feeling very thrilled with myself. And we go to a cousin's house for lunch. So she looks at both of us and says, "Oh, Mohan, you've lost weight." And he says, "That's the size of my wallet showing on my face." Because here I was spending the money, he was spending the money for me, and I was trying to lose weight, and apparently he had lost weight. But that's the point. So when we don't show it, and I was very upset because they told him that he had lost weight, and I was the one who was working out. So sometimes it doesn't show, but as time goes on, when it starts showing, people start seeing. So that embodying the change is so important because people need to see it, and people need to get inspired, and people need to get influenced. So remember, to just become inspiring and influencing, you have to be more strategic, start thinking as a leader, and less operationally. Not a foot soldier. You need to be the commanding officer. So you need time for that. You need to be the bridge and not the hub, and become a better and better connector. So how do you do that? By working with your team and with everybody that you know. You need to excite them, engage them, empower them, and you need to embody all of the change for them to see that you are a leader. Think as a leader, act as one, and that makes you a leader. Thank you very much. So here's our session for this month. Thank you for listening in. Do subscribe because we do have blogs, and we are coming out with a Wonder Woman of the Month. So every month we feature a person who has been just like you and me and now is right on top. And what are the secrets? What made her get there? All of that we're going to feature in. So do join us, do subscribe, and do listen to us on all of these things. Thank you.